Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Alyssa.
And I'm also Alyssa.
And this is The Dish on Admish, a podcast about all things related to college admissions and life at IU Bloomington.
Today's topic is finding your home at IU. Today we'll be talking to our guest, Phil, who's an RA on campus, about his connection to housing at IU and why living on campus is so great for incoming students. So Phil, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Hey, yeah, I'd be glad to. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Philip. I'm a sophomore. I'm from Chicago. I'm studying management within the Kelley School of Business. Yeah, like Alyssa said, I am an RA. It stands for residential assistant. An RA is a trained peer leader who coordinates activities in residence halls. So for me, some of my responsibilities are watching my floor of residents. There are about 20 plus of them this year. Enforcing IU's residential curriculum. So for me, some examples of that would be like installing bulletin boards based on monthly themes, participating in intentional engagements, checking in on my residents about once a month, making sure they're adapting well to school, living conditions, anything of that sort, and as well as running my own floor meetings. So you can be an RA in any of the four neighborhoods. There are four neighborhoods on campus: the Northwest neighborhood, the Central neighborhood, the Southeast neighborhood, and the Northeast neighborhood. All of them have amazing dorms and living facilities, and they're all near something pretty significant on campus, either the stadium, the School of Music, sample gates, etc. And then there are also living learning communities that you can be a residential assistant in, or that you can just live in. A living learning community is a community that connects you to a ready-made group of peers and mentors who share your interests and broaden your life on campus. So they have course requirements, academic advising, alumni support, career exploration, exclusive facilities, and faculty and staff support. So there are a couple of different LLCs and thematic communities. There's the Global LLC, which is for international students or students majoring in global studies. A business school LLC, now called the Jellison LLC, or even the Women in STEM LLC. So there are a lot of LLC options for students who are looking to go that route as well.
Awesome. Thank you for all that good information. I have to say my RA became to be a good friend. She had to unlock my door for me a couple times as I stood there in a towel. So very appreciative of you RAs and all you do. I know that you host a lot of events to get people on the floor to get to know each other. And those are just awesome for freshmen that are from far away or don't know anyone. So we appreciate you guys.
Phil, I just had a question for you. Why did you choose to be an RA?
Great question. And I just want to respond by that by saying, well, obviously my parents told me that it was time for me to get a job anyway. So I can just start there with a joke at my own expense. There were just a bunch of benefits to becoming an RA. It's really good money. I mean, the pay is really well. I get to live for free here on campus, and I get to live by myself as well. And then now I virtually go here for free with my job and the other scholarships that I have. So it just made my Bloomington life and experience much cheaper and much easier for me to breathe now that I have the benefit of being an RA.
Sounds like a major power move to me.
Yes, that's awesome. So, Alyssa, do you want to tell a little bit about what neighborhoods we chose to live in?
Of course. So I can start. I lived in Spruce Hall, which is in the Southeast neighborhood. So it's kind of near the School of Education. It's near Forest, which is another dorm, near Reed, another dorm that we'll talk about a little bit later. And in Spruce, I was a part of the Inspire LLC, which is the one for education majors because I am an education major. And the reason I chose to live in an LLC was because I wanted to be around people that had similar interests and similar career interests as me. Because I was, as I mentioned previously, I'm from Pennsylvania and I did not know anyone coming into college. So I wanted a great way to meet lots of people easily. And along with that aspect of the LLC, another great thing that they offer is opportunities to meet people that are directly affiliated with your major or with the focus of your LLC. And then experiences. So for me, it was working in schools with students, before my classes even allowed me to, and attending panels with other educators that speak on them to give you their insights. We took trips to other cities. We went to Cincinnati, so that was really cool. So, LLCs are great, and I had a great experience living on mine. And just living on campus in general was another great way for me to learn where the buildings were, get affiliated with campus, find my favorite study spots, the cafes, the classics, and my favorite dining halls, of course, while also just enjoying the college atmosphere in general. And speaking of dining halls, I just have to give a quick shout out to Forest, which, as I mentioned, is the dining hall that was across from mine.
The best.
Yes, hands down. It was 5-star exquisite dining, just amazing food. When you think of college food, you are not thinking of Forest.
No.
Like, you will walk into Forest and it feels like a restaurant. It is incredible. I went there every day. I'm not ashamed of it. I actually regret nothing. So, yeah, definitely if you find yourself on campus, whenever you do.
It's so good. And it's the same like Crimson Cash and Meal Bucks as anywhere else. So it is definitely the spot to be.
Yes, and my favorite part of Forest was at the Round, which is a little cafe place. They have flatbreads and there's a bunch of different flavors. So if you like flatbreads, definitely get them there. They're so good and addicting. But yeah, all in all, Spruce was great. Southeast neighborhood was great. I was really close to the education building, which was good for me, so I could just get up out of bed and go to class. And yeah, Alyssa, would you like to talk about yours?
Yeah, so I was on the other side of campus. I lived in Foster, which was the Northwest neighborhood. And really the only reason I chose this neighborhood was because it's the closest to the School of Business, which is where I thought the majority of my classes would be. I definitely found myself walking through all parts of campus and even having some general classes like econ on the south side of campus. So neighborhoods are not the end-all be-all, but definitely help me guide my decision as to where I preferred to live. My dorm Foster was incredible. Not near the best food that Alyssa had in across from Spruce, but campus is so walkable. I still got down there with my friends quite often. My favorite is the pasta at Forest, but the dorm I lived in, Foster, does have community bathrooms. I actually am a big advocate for those. It's a great way to make friends. Teeth brushing parties are a real thing. I met the girls who live next door to me through that, and it is a great way to meet people and just to get out of your rooms. Phil, where did you live?
Yeah, and I honestly think the timing is perfect for my response because, I've had a combination of both. I live currently now in the Northwest neighborhood. Foster, ironically, is where I live now as an RA. But for my freshman year, I also did live in the Southeast neighborhood. I lived in a building called Reed, which was just down the street from Spruce and across from Forest. So, Alyssa, I have to say that you are 100% correct about Forest, just about how great it is. I would go back for their burgers almost any day.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah. And then also Reed had its own like mini cafe on the first floor. They served the greatest waffles.
Waffles!
Yes. And what I would do is just combine the waffles and the ice cream that would come with the waffles and kind of make like my own waffle sandwich with it. So that was just great too. My mouth is pretty much salivating thinking about it. So I probably am going to go over there today now that I think about it. But like I said, I lived in Reed. I did live on an LLC floor, ironically, but I opted out of the LLC itself. But living in the Southeast neighborhood, since it was so equidistant from everything, it really helped me get a better feel for the city of Bloomington as well as campus itself. And then before coming to IU, I had only lived in one city my entire life, which was Chicago, except for a couple weeks in Argentina. But other than that, so just being able to make that adjustment because I stayed on campus was very huge for me.
I just wanted to throw in a quick little insider tip there. If you are concerned about not getting the neighborhood that you really, really want, it's not something that you need to really worry about because anywhere you live, you're going to be close to a dining hall. You're going to be close to different things on campus. So do not worry if you do not end up in the neighborhood that you were really hoping for, because I know a lot of my friends ended up in a different neighborhood than they anticipated, and they actually ended up really, really enjoying it. So don't worry.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Second that. So do you guys think we should talk about the hot topic of roommates?
Yes, I'm sure that's what everybody wants to know.
I know it. So I used IU's online community for admitted students to find a roommate. My roommate and I had never met before we decided to live together, but we did use the platform to talk to each other, message, have a couple conversations, and find that we did have a lot in common. So I call it halfway random. We are actually still best friends to this day with the girl who lives next door to us as well. So thank you again to the community type dorm situation. Big plug for that. Great way to meet people. Alyssa, how did you find your roommate?
So I went completely random. I ended up not even meeting my roommate until move-in day. So as I mentioned before, I'm from Pennsylvania. There was absolutely nobody from my hometown that was going to IU. It was just me. So I couldn't really have chosen someone I knew from home, but I also, like Alyssa, I kind of wanted to branch out anyway. So I got my roommate through my LLC. If you're applying to an LLC, you can usually live with someone that's also in the LLC. So I was I was excited about it because I knew that it would be someone that was also an education major and somebody that I could have common interests with. And we ended up having a really great time. She was super chill. We became friends. We still talk and we have classes together. So it worked out really well for me. And I do not regret anything about the process. I think it went well. Phil, would you like to share your experiences?
Of course I would. I mean, my experience was kind of similar to yours, Alyssa. I mean, I also went random as well. Only 3 other people from my high school ended up coming here to IU, so I didn't really know anyone either. Plus, I mean, I was just a blank canvas coming into the school. I just really wanted to meet people. I didn't really have much of a preference about a roommate. So they gave me a roommate from the Chicagoland area, which was great because of the similarities close to home. And like you said, I didn't even meet my roommate until the day we moved in either. But we were able to click immediately just because the first day that we met, we spent about 3+ hours just rearranging the whole room to our satisfaction. Even with our parents' help, it took us that long. So we were just really able to bond off that moment. And I think going random for a roommate has been great. We still keep in touch to this day, even though we may not live together anymore. But I know choosing a roommate can be a difficult situation for all those people who are listening. So I just want to encourage you that it's really not going to be bad at all.
And on that same note, I do want to throw in that I do have some friends that chose their roommate before they moved in from their hometown or just from knowing someone. And that also worked out great for them. I remember being really nervous that everybody would have their best friend already, like coming into school, and I wouldn't be able to meet anyone. But do not worry if that is you and you're thinking that right now. That is totally valid. I was there. I get it. But don't worry because it will all work out and you will end up meeting some really great people regardless of where you find your roommate.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you all are interested in how I found mine through IU's online community, it is called the 2021 New Hoosiers, which is where you can connect with other new students, find a roommate, or just find some friends before move-in day. So you'll receive an email inviting you to join. So that's a plug for making sure you set up your IU email address. So I know Phil is our special guest this week. We can kind of teach him a little bit about a Hoosier moment. A Hoosier moment is something that made us feel proud to be a Hoosier this week. Alyssa, did you have a Hoosier moment?
I sure did. So I have classes back to back. I have like 3 classes on campus and I don't have enough time to go home. And I ran out of meal points the other day and I was very upset because I was super hangry and I have a very limited amount of time in between my classes. So I was just not having a good time. But one of my classmates who has a meal plan offered to buy me lunch. And that just shows that Hoosier hospitality is a completely real thing.
It's so real. My Hoosier moment happened earlier this week. IU gave us a wellness/mental health day, which was a day that our classes were canceled and we were encouraged to focus on our mental health. For me, that kind of meant doing some assignments and getting ahead on work. I know a lot of people decided not to even touch their schoolwork, and either and both were totally acceptable. Whatever mental health meant for you, it was encouraged. And I just think it was so cool that IU listened to their students and is emphasizing mental health's importance and gave us a day like that. All right, Phil, the moment has come. Do you have a Hoosier moment?
I think I do have a Hoosier moment. Earlier this week, I just attended one of the career fairs that IU offers. They offer so many career fairs for almost every major on campus. So I went for one under my major, and it just really put things into perspective for me, especially why I chose to come here because of these resources that IU does offer and all the support systems that they have to try to really help students succeed and help them guarantee employment after graduation. So I was really just appreciative of that moment. And I think that's my biggest Hoosier moment this week.
I think we kind of hit all aspects of a week here in Indiana. Phil, we want to thank you so very much for joining us on this episode. You had so much good information, were very insightful, and I'm sure our listeners really appreciate the insider tips from a residence assistant. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed coming here. Hopefully I can be on another podcast sometime.
We would love to have you.
Yeah, speaking of that, tune back in. We can't wait for our next few episodes. If you have a question or a topic, make sure to ask it on our website. That was today's episode on The Dish on Admish.
Yeah, we're definitely getting worse.